So the problem with Promising Young Woman, it's a well put together story, but it's like a decade too late, because by the time this movie came out, I mean, just a few years before that, you had situations where colleges basically were setting up kangaroo courts to like kick out dudes. I mean, it's a little thing. It was like a death sentence to just get accused of something. So the idea that colleges would cover something like that up in the mid-teens just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, it makes sense maybe in the mid-2000s, and of course, like back in the 60s and 50s, you had this concept of institution as parent, where colleges did do this type of stuff. Guaranteed, sure. Like, the college acts as your parent, and the college decides that women who get raped, it's the best thing for them to not press charges or whatever. That sort of nonsense to protect the college, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I mean, in the mid-teens, really? Like, see, that's the whole problem with this. Like, it takes a couple of years to get a movie going, so if you make a movie about a thing that you're thinking about in 2010 or 2012 or 2015, like, you've already just cursed yourself, because the thing could be old news when the thing comes out. So the idea that in 2020, well, it was like, in the story it's like a couple of years, but even 2015, like you're talking about 6-7 years since Me Too, so it didn't really make any sense, right? And then you get to the end part, and instead of having a proper ending, it just sets it up so you can talk about it. It's a movie designed to get you to talk about it instead of giving you a concrete conclusion. Because if this movie were to have a conclusion, the conclusion would be very creepy and very bizarre and very weird, because you would have this woman basically going around town doing weird shit, so you'd have no end of like optional character witnesses to talk about how crazy she was and make stuff up. So yeah, you could just have people going, well, she tried to kill me. Like, I'm very confused. This nurse tried to kill me. Blah, 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 blah. The stripper tried to kill me. And, like, the after show would just be, like, these toxic feminazi weirdos obsessing over regretful sex. And it would be framed as regretful sex, not rape. And, you know, I mean, fundamentally, we don't actually know that the best friend was raped, right? It kind of seems like the best friend might have actually just gotten in over her head and gotten gangbanged and just felt regretful afterwards, but not really, you know, been gang raped. Like, I don't remember seeing anything in the video that it was like, oh, no, don't do this to me or something like that. It kind of seems like it was a gangbang, a consensual gangbang by all kinds of inebriated people. And it's like very different to get consensually gangbanged by a bunch of people and like something like the late 80s with, I think it was Jodie Foster, and was it The Accused, where she does like a sexy dance, blah, 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 and then people start going on and like start kissing her, and then she's like, no, like does a 180, and some guy in the background is like, staring there shocked or whatever, and it's like it turns into a rape, and then she gets harassed. Like, that's like a very concrete story, whereas Promising Young Woman seems like a very concrete example of what's probably not happening in colleges because it's 7 years after Me Too, and colleges already set up Gestapo like court systems against dudes who are just accused. And Yale is just currently dealing with like $100 million lawsuit. And the end of the movie is clearly just talk about it instead of giving you a concrete solution. It kind of feels like it's sort of chickening out of giving you a concrete solution, because the concrete solution to this natural story would be, oh, now they're all framing her as like a crazy person, which she was, and like framing the rape as regretful sex. And you know, yeah, like there was a case where a bunch of Canadian, I think they were hockey players, got summoned into a room where a blonde chick wanted to get gang banged, like intentionally, like with no qualms, no fear, they didn't gang rape her. She literally wanted to get gang banged for actual. There are text messages. There's video of her being, I think there's video of her being like, Jesus, you pussies, come on. Something like that, right? Like, there are women who go to parties, get drunk, like, along with all these other drunk dudes, intentionally get gangbanged, and then afterwards, because they're living in a small community, decide, oh no, I regret my actions, but I'm the victim because I'm a woman. And it's not actually a very nuanced like analysis of what's actually going on, or what was actually going on pre-Me Too. If what was actually going on pre-Me Too was going on pre-Me Too. Because I feel like it would have probably been a thing in the mid-2000s at worst. And I feel like college rape is hyper-exaggerated. Like, as far back as the 2000s, there was a case where a woman lied about being gang raped by rich white kids. She was like a black stripper, and she made this whole thing up, and her co-worker stripper was also like, this is all made up. So it took like up until like a few years ago, I think it was last year or the year before last, for that chick to finally admit like that she lied and talk about God, and she lied and talk about God loves me, blah, 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 blah. But like, she basically ruined a bunch of guys' lives for no reason whatsoever. And it's like, so are we to like assume that like the chick dean of this college would just assume that her daughter would get gang raped because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So her daughter goes to school and she's like, oh, you sent my girl off to meet some college guys in college where she is. Oh, they're automatically gonna that's really cartoonish. It didn't make any sense. The more you think about this movie, the less it makes sense. It's kind of like The Social Network, where if you watch it more than one time, you realize, hey, wait a minute. Well, you probably know that the girlfriend in the movie is all fake, and the whole gender narrative is faked, and all these various details, key details, are fake. But also, if you listen to the opening situation, now the first time you watch it, you might think the dude is being a jackass. But then if you think about just slightly outside the box, right? So this woman was his girlfriend, and her exact words kind of sound like, and she knows he's weird. So at the start of the social network, you're not really seeing fake Mark Zuckerberg be an asshole. What you're seeing is fake Mark Zuckerberg's fake girlfriend design the conversation, steer the conversation into him putting his foot in his mouth so that she can then be angry so that she could leave him. You know? That there's like this massive problem with gender narratives where if you don't put in a full analysis of a gender narrative like Companion, like if you're doing a fanbot movie and you just reference a thing, well, the entire thing, right? At the start of Companion, you have this meet cute at this grocery store, and because it's a fanbot at this grocery store, well, that's a reference by definition to Stepford Wives. So some pseudo-intellectual on YouTube is gonna take the Stepford Wives and go, well, it doesn't have a coherent thesis, and blah, 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 and it seems to be in between Ex Machina and, you know, like Stepford Wives, and here's all these things about Stepford Wives, and blah, 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 and it's just like this stupid 20 or 2 minutes to an hour of, like, talking about everything other than the work itself. But okay, so if you just make it for fun, you're gonna have assholes make up stuff about the narratives that should be pushed or were not properly examined, even though they basically don't exist, blah, blah, blah. But if you do try to examine those things, you're gonna have producers and chick writers, and the chick writers are probably just gonna regurgitate some stuff they heard in their random political clique. So you come up with something like this movie, Promising Young Woman. Here's a cute psychotic bitch going around mind-fucking with people, getting an unrealistic number of rapists, getting an unrealistic sort of I don't know what she's doing. She's like, I caught you. You were trying to rape me. I was just pretending. So she's not, so all these guys, they're like willing date rapists or whatever. And also, her main guy, saw her friend get raped. And other than the dad, every dude in the entire movie is some type of asshole or pervert or something. And the whole premise of the movie is her friend committed suicide because men. So it just feels like this absurdist, dark comedy of a thing where everyone is sexist, everyone is, oh my god. I'm quoting Anita Sarkeesian, aren't I? Does anybody remember everyone is sexist, everyone is racist, everything is blah blah blah, and you have to point it all out. And this movie doesn't really fucking have real people in it. So you're stuck in this pseudo-reality where college campuses are enabling dudes instead of setting up kangaroo courts to like expel every dude who seems like he's guilty in the public eye, and just blah blah blah. Like it's like this movie, if it were like competently designed and competently written, and it wasn't just like fun affect and like situational stuff, should have come out like 20 years ago, not like a couple of years after they started setting up kangaroo courts. Like, seriously. Yale is being sued for $100 million. with good reason. Because Yale itself had the superabundance of evidence to prove some chick at Yale was lying about being sexually assaulted. Here's the list of her lies. Blah, blah, blah. Here's her going finger in finger, like telling her friend she's gonna fuck this guy, blah, 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 blah. So this was like a couple of years after the Yale scandal. This was already when everybody had fucking been tired of Me Too. I think there was a story where the Me Too founder herself was like kind of disavowed Me Too because it was just being weaponized for nonsense. So it came out at the worst possible time. The more you think about the movie, other than good acting and looking good, everything about this movie is just, here's absurdist unfairness in this fictional world where everyone is a sexist. The end, talk about it without any sort of like definitive conclusion, because if that world were real, they would just spin it as a crazy woman like forced me to kill her on my bachelor party because her crazy friend committed suicide because she felt regret for getting gangbanged. Even though she went to this party, got drunk willingly, and we all got drunk willingly, and we all did it willingly, and like it's college and everybody parties at college, and it's such utterly absurd that I would be like getting prosecuted for this woman trying to kill me and me defending myself. Huzzah. Right? So that would have been like the most logical conclusion to the story. Right? She wastes a couple of million of rich people's money and probably changes very little policy or something. It's absurd.